Good afternoon. This is Tanya Aarons coming to you from Brisbane, Australia at Titania's Realm, my sacred space. And I'm making this video. I'm so tired. I worked yesterday like a maniac on acid, and yesterday I woke up feeling quite wrung out actually, because I'd had a very bad night the previous night with my bladder. I call it peeing like a racehorse, but it's not pleasant. I was up every 40 minutes to an hour on average through the night, and I don't know where the copious fluid output comes from. I really don't. I don't even drink a lot, So yesterday I was wrung out in the morning, and my cleaning lady came and she said, "How are you?" I said, "Oh, look, I feel like death warmed up." But then I got inspired to make jewellery. This is how you know it's something I'm passionate about, because even though I was really quite ill yesterday, I worked and worked and worked at my little jewellery projects. So I'm still working at them. It's like, 1:15 p.m. and I'm still working at them. So I made these little gum nuts. I've just got to drill a hole back in where the little divot in the gum nut is, and I'm cleaning up the edges of the casting, sanding it back with my trusty half round ring file that I'm loving. I paid a lot of money for this thing at AJS. It was an expensive ring file, but I love it. It really does work well. And so here's another one that I'm working on that still has its little stalk. So I'm going to try and keep the stalk somehow. Not sure how I'm going to hang it, but yeah, I got obsessed with having the little stem. This one, we lost the stem. There was a stem on each of them. There were three. One we lost, we meaning me, I lost because I'd fiddled with it too much, and I'd put it back in the casting, and it ended up being not a perfect fit and ended up being crooked. But these are perfectly molded. I'm very happy with it. It's a silly little thing, really. I've worked on for 2 days now, but silly little things. But I'm very happy with my silly little things. This one's going to take a fair bit of clean up because I want to keep the stem, but I've got to clean up the rough bits there and where I've had to cut off with my Dremel. So there's those two. I think they'll be quite heavy because they're solid 835 silver, but I think they'd make quite interesting earrings or pendant. But anyway, I love them. I made them, so I love them. This one is the gum nut embryo from inside a large gum nut that my friend gave me. My friend Lynn gave me, actually, the little gum nuts. I've been sitting on them for a while, not knowing what to do with them. So I got the idea of using them as ingot molds, pouring silver into them. So here's the second one I've made now. This one's a bit larger than the original and got more internal, I don't know what you'd call them, phalanges, ridges, parts where the seeds, I think they hold the little seeds inside. The seeds are gone, but beautiful, weird, tiny alien looking thing. So I've still got to cut off the sprue, which is that little knobby bit, the button, and which wasn't a deliberate sprue. That's just I filled it right up to the top. So yeah, it makes a perfect little button though. But anyway, I polished that up last night, and again, I'm very happy with it. I think it will make an interesting pendant and it's solid silver, 835 silver. So that's what I've been doing for 2 days. Now the other thing I made yesterday, I'll just show you the table, my messy table. This one's earmarked for my daughter Crystal. So I cut up this beautiful, and I was a bit sad to cut it up, but I haven't got sterling silver sheet, and I haven't got money to buy sterling silver sheet, but I had this beautiful Celtic, beautifully made antique. Yes, I know. It hurt to cut it up, actually. Antique Celtic with beautiful intricate little patterns. Dish in sterling silver. So I wanted the base of it for sheet to make pendants with. So I cut it up and I can you see it? There. No. I texturized the back. This one I didn't really hammer hard enough. I could have actually textured it a bit harder. I'm trying to get the pattern. No, can't see it. Anyway, there is a pattern on that. And I also stamped it with 925 on the back, because that's going to be the back, right? And then I'm going to, if we can see it, put this beautiful little moonstone. Can't quite see it because I can't flip between camera angles on my phone. Let there be light. So yes, this moonstone, which is one my daughter chose from my little assortment of stones I bought, is going to sit on there with a bezel. If I can get the bezel to solder down without melting it, I'm a bit nervous about. I've never made a soldered down bezel or bezel setting before. So yesterday I cut up that that beautiful bowl. So here's another one. This one's a labradorite stone that I've decided I'm going to there. Hello, here we are. Let there be light. Let the light reflect the stone. And again, it's from that beautiful antique bowl. Look, when I've got money, I'm going to buy proper silver sheet and not be hacking up beautiful vintage and antique bowls, but desperation called for desperate measures. And I decided yesterday that I would have a go at, making these things. So, and I also textured the back. So here we go. Oh, this is another of my little poinciana pod babies made from the poinciana pod. So I've got another one of those. That's 835 silver too. So, yes, I'm getting very excited about my progress because this was a lot of work just doing this yesterday. Stamping, texturizing, stamping the 925 on them. It takes a lot of time. This is why jewellery costs such a lot of money. I hadn't realised how much time and effort goes into handmade sterling silver jewellery. And it's weird because you can buy it dirt cheap from people in China and that. Well, do you realise how badly those people are exploited? Because I know the work that goes into them now. I stamped this weird looking shape left over from my beautiful Celtic bowl. And the reason being is that those small round bits I can use as backing sheet for smaller stones, which I do have some smaller stones. And so it's already stamped, ready to go. This is another piece that I made yesterday that I very cleverly, it's going to be a lot of work though, I didn't have enough bezel wire, so I made a bezel out of that texturized edge. I made a bezel for the square stone for my daughter. Here it is. There. Anyway, I hope it fits all right when I solder it together, because otherwise I'll have wasted all that time and effort. But I think I'm poking at it now. I think it should still fit. So, and also put 925 in that as well. So it's happening, people. The next phase of my jewellery journey, which is learning how to make bezels and set the stones. And once I get good at that and I get confidence at that and proficiency at that, the next step that I want to learn is making little baskets or little cages for real little gemstones, which I'm afraid of but excited to learn too. So I'm teaching myself all these little things at home at my own steam, and there's a fair bit of trial and error, but you know, provided I get the soldering of these pieces right, I think I'll have 3 nice pendants. This turquoise, oval turquoise pendant, a cabochon, I bought about 30, oh gosh, I remember when I bought it, I was with my mother somewhere. I think it might have even been an AJS, to be honest. And we were looking at, you know, jewellery tools and various things. And my mother was trying to coerce or persuade me to get into silversmithing back then, which I was not willing to then. In those days, I was still working, busy with my own business in a chicken takeaway shop in Capalaba called Chicken Express that I had with my husband. I had no time to do silversmithing with 2 small children at home and running a very busy business. So my mother was trying to inveigle me into this life path. But I remember buying the stone because I said to my mother, that's a pretty turquoise. I'm not even sure if it is a turquoise now. Might be haulite. But anyway, it's pretty. It's very blue for a turquoise. It's probably haulite. It's probably dyed or whatever. I can't remember what I paid for it now. But anyway, I love it. And I've kept it all these years in the state because I didn't know how to turn it into jewellery. So it's finally, after about 30 odd years, might be even more than 30 years. I mean, I separated from my husband 28 years ago. So anyway, it was definitely bought while I was living here in Australia, and I'm pretty sure it was bought at AJS. They used to sell stones occasionally. I think they still do sell stones. Anyway, I bought it, and finally, after 3 decades or even more, it's being transmuted into something wearable. So that's going to be its back, and it's just going to sit like that, looking fabulous, darling, fabulous. Yes. So that's the journey I'm currently on. I'm very, very tired. I've been working so hard on these little projects, and you know, somebody else will go like, it's not that hard, what's the big deal? The big deal is I'm 58, I'm not well, I'm learning, self-taught from scratch, and it takes me a lot longer to make things than it probably would take a professional. But even a professional had to start somewhere. They had to put in the time and the effort, and to become professionals and get fast at making things and producing things does not happen overnight. So I'm cutting myself some slack about that, and I'm very, very pleased with my progress so far. So that's my video. I'm going to probably carry on scratching away at my gum nut babies, my little gum nuts. And then I'm going to need to have a rest. My eyes are really burning. They're so dry and sore. I'm going to have maybe a drink of water and a rest, because I'm probably quite dehydrated after all the pishing all night. Not so much last night, but the night before was very bad. Very, very bad. And it worries me, all my 3 cats died of some weird illness where they peed and peed and peed and peed and peed and peed and got weaker and weaker, and I'm scared that I have the same illness, right? I mean, it was diagnosed with 2 of the cats as diabetes, and one of the cats, I don't think she had diabetes. She wasn't overweight. There was no reason for that cat to have diabetes. So I think they were misdiagnosed, and it's some kind of poisoning that we're enduring, because, the cats went first and now I have the same symptoms. Maybe I'm denial, maybe it is diabetes that I've got. It's quite possible. I probably should get checked. But I don't trust the doctors now. You go there. I went to the last one, the new one, and said my foot's hurt, really painful. I'm in agony, all the bones are, I'll just go and put your foot up. You'll be right. Sent me home without any treatment. Well, anyway, interestingly, my foot seems to be a bit better now, so I don't know what that was. Must have been an arthritic flare-up of some kind. So the foot's better, but the bladder's playing up, so I can't win. It's one thing or the other, constantly one thing or the other. So I'm drained from it all. But in the meantime, I'm enjoying what's left of my life, and I'm making beautiful little things that, should I die, my daughter's probably going to go, what the hell is this crap? But at least she can melt it down. I've got the equipment to melt it all down again, and she can sell it for its silver value, So it's not all worthless crap like I was left with my inheritance. Boxes and boxes of worthless costume jewellery that, was of no intrinsic value. So that was a bit awful too. So anywho, life goes on. I keep myself entertained. I keep myself busy. I'm probably going dancing tonight, as I usually do, if I'm not too tired by 10 o'clock this evening, because I get very tired today. But yes, I need to go dancing and be out in the world with humans, even though by and large they irritate me when I'm in a public space and there's too many people around me. I do get irritated, but I've got to be out in the world once a week, be a human, be a social butterfly, and dance the dance of freedom and defiance and wildness once a week, because otherwise, it's very lonely and isolating sitting here at my desk looking at the garden, my bird, my dog. We do get a bit lonely, so it's nice to go out. As long as everyone's pleasant and behaves themselves. Otherwise I just go home early because I can't be bothered really. But anyway, there you go. Good afternoon from Sacred Space. Having a lovely day even though I'm exhausted, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.